What's up, Schwartz Force? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm so honored. This is the coolest and most significant unboxing to be done on the channel to date. And the reason for that is because inside here is a watch from the Traveling Watch Project. Now, this video is gonna consist of a couple different parts. First, we're gonna do an unboxing so I can show you guys this amazing watch. Second, I'm going to talk a little bit about why this is so significant. And then third, I'm going to actually include at the end of this video the full conversation that was had on the channel with Average Joe Watch Reviews, myself, when we did the 12 hours of Christmas live stream. We had Eugene and JD from the Traveling Watch Project on, and they talked about what this is, how it benefits the Veterans Watchmaker Initiative. And I gotta say, it's humbling and it's an honor to be able to feature this on the channel. So it's a big deal, and you guys will be able to hear the story, see the watch, and if you feel inclined, I humbly implore you to also donate and give to the Veterans Watchmaker Initiative. Now, one of the cool things about the live stream was at the end of that 12-hour live stream, Average Joe and I were exhausted, and you guys, my viewers, subscribers of the channel, new and old, were donating through the super chats and on the channel. And those donations, as well as all the ad money that was made from that live stream, I'll show you here. I'm going to actually be donating that, plus a little extra from my own pocket, to the Veterans Watchmaker Initiative. So I'm going to link them down in the channel. I'll show you. Let's go to make that donation online together. If you feel like giving, please do. I know that's going to help them out a ton. But I'm enough talking. Let's get into it. Let's check this watch out. I don't know what else is in this box, and go from there.
Hey, did you know it's a great day to wear a watch?
It's a great day to wear a watch. Okay, excuse my mess out and about. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this bad boy open. Hopefully I don't do any damage on inside of the package. Boom. Okay, so let's take a look inside. Okay, so I'm gonna read this here. This is so cool. Okay, so there's a little personal note. Previously was Perpetual Girl. She had this watch. I think it's awesome. Put a little note here. So she's just saying she didn't wear the leather band. Well, I guess I get to break in that leather band, and we will definitely do so. I'll have this thing, and then this just talks about the project. So I don't want to show too much because I don't know what I'm allowed to or not allowed to. And then here we have the case. All right, moment of truth here. So a mesh bracelet, and there we go. Man, check that out, guys. Just to talk a little bit about the watch itself. So this is the 2.0 version, and again, in the video coming up, you're gonna hear both Eugene and JD talk about the situation with the first one and kind of the fiasco that happened with that. So this is actually the second one created. What's really cool, obviously the most striking thing you're noticing is that custom dial. So this was hand painted, this Galaxy dial by Schwinn Designs. And so yeah, big shout out, and I mean, just awesome work. Look at this thing. It just stands out, and I'll do a loom shot for you here. But basically this second version 2.0 is featuring this oyster case, kind of like a Rolex oyster case style. And I love that this flat sapphire crystal sits just a little bit higher on that bezel. Obviously high polished bezel, and then we have brushed lugs on the fronts, and then high polished case design. Also drilled lug holes, which is awesome. 20 millimeter lug width on this particular watch head, and then we do have a unsigned but screw down crown. Now the movement powering this watch is actually the Seiko NH36. So as you can see, we have hacking when pulled out in position 2, and then of course day date function, and hand winding as well. So I really like that because obviously, you know, there are those Seiko movements where you don't have hand winding or hacking. So I love that they went with that option for the movement powering this watch. Look at these hands, very cool. And then of course, that lightning bolt second hand. that orange just pops. Obviously, we had the diver's indication, 200 meters water resistance, also in orange. So I love how that ties in there. And then we see just branding Seiko automatic. Now you can kind of see that custom painting on these pips. So while they're not applied indices, they are hand painted on there with lume. And I'll show you, I mean, the lume color on this thing is just amazing. Now, obviously with the strap options, we have this Ritchie strap, which with the green, that kind of lime green and black is gonna tie in perfectly with this dial. And then there is the Milanese mesh bracelet. So again, very cool design, kind of tying in with that. And there is a custom leather strap. Now this, I hope I'm not mispronouncing it, but I believe it's pronounced Caribe. I might be saying that wrong, but this is just, yeah, really nice, high quality leather strap. So I plan on wearing this a bit too and kind of breaking that in, but very cool with that dark brown, rich chocolate brown leather. But honestly, I gotta say guys, I'm going for the first maybe day or two, I'm gonna bust out my Straps Co. green suede with white stitching on this watch. I think that the pairing is just going to be perfect. That darker green color I think just ties in with the dial so well. But yes, very cool. This thing is going to get out and about once the weather picks up a little bit here and improves. Then I will be taking this watch out to some really cool spots around town, doing some photos, posting on Instagram. So if you're not already following me on Instagram, go to my profile. You can follow me there and check out all the cool things that are going to happen with this watch, and also follow the Traveling Watch Project and the Watchmakers initiative as well. And there we have it on my 7-inch wrist. You can see 36 millimeter case width is fitting really nicely on my wrist, and this can pair up with so much, and I love the playful look of it. So without further ado, let me go ahead and get to the 1 hour live stream so you guys can check that out. Give it a listen, give it a watch, guys. Really cool story behind everything here. Get to know Eugene and JD and hear about their journey and creating this project and working with a lot of people involved with it. And please help contribute to the Veterans Watchmaker Initiative. Just really great cause. So let me know your comments down below of my strap choice or what you'd like to see more of on the watch. And as always, I will look forward to seeing you guys at the next one. May the Schwartz be with you. Let's roll that footage.
All right, man. So we got just a couple minutes. We're going to bring in Eugene and JD from Traveling Watch Project. Yeah, man, I'm excited. I haven't met these guys yet, so I'm super stoked. Do you need a quick break or anything? Are you good?
I actually wanted to do a little introduction for these two guys. These two gentlemen actually run the Traveling Watch Project. So they actually have a customized Seiko that they send to different watch fans. And I was actually honored to have held the watch for a while. And what you do is you take pictures along your journeys with the watch, and the proceeds from the auction. So when this watch has made it around the world, and they're going to actually gather all the pictures, and they're going to include that in the auction. And the auction is going to benefit the Watchmaker Initiative, which is benefiting veterans to getting them into the watchmaker, getting them a watchmaker position, sending them to school, tuition paid. This is an awesome program that gives back to our veterans who fight for our freedoms every day. So I am extremely honored to have these two very awesome gentlemen on the show today, because it's given back to these veterans. So, Dave?
Yeah, let me bring him in. Okay, so I got Eugene here. Hey, what's going on, Eugene?
How's it going?
Hey, man.
Going?
And
Thanks
then I
for
think
having me on.
Yeah, I saw JD. He was in the waiting area, and then he popped back out. So hopefully he'll be coming back on
We'll
soon.
get him back in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was having a little trouble. He started with his laptop, was a bit laggy, so I think he's trying to get back in now with his phone or something like that.
Welcome to
Right on.
Live
Welcome.
here.
Thanks
Yeah.
for joining us, and also nice to meet you. It's nice to
thank
put
you.
a
Hey.
face to.
Nice to meet you as well. You know, it's funny, when I saw that this was the 12-hour thing, I was kind of thinking, I was like, they should have done a 24-hour one. That way, by
Shoot.
now, when I was on, they would be like totally loopy and sleep deprived, and that would make it so much more entertaining. But maybe next year we can do that.
Well, yeah, we'll you first, like, and then we'll. No, I'm just kidding.
We have to see
Okay,
if you
okay.
We'll join
challenge,
you at the end.
man.
Gauntlet dropped.
Yeah, man.
Challenge.
It's
So-
we've seen a lot of people coming and going too. So like this is kind of the idea of like, even though Average Joe and myself were here and you guys are coming on, like the fans, the viewers they're just like, coming and going, which is awesome. Hearing all the different talks. So really honored to have you on, man.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank
So
you.
we had Eve on it, the first guest. So she's actually brushing her teeth now and preparing to go to bed, but she's still on, man. She's still supporting us. So thank you.
Where's she located at?
Philippines.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Manila. Yeah. So it's
Oh,
like midnight
yeah.
over there.
Yeah.
And my fiance, she's downstairs watching us on the big screen, so she's in the chat as well. So thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah, man. Thanks
I've
to
had
everyone.
I've had quite a few friends from the Philippines, and it sounds like a heck of a place to go.
Yeah, it's definitely been put on my radar of somewhere to go visit and hang out because talking to Eve and hearing how it just sounds like a really cool experience. So
My fiance's family is from the Philippines. My
Mhm.
fiance is Filipina, so obviously that's going to be a place that I'm going to have to visit one day as well. So
Oh yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I hear they have some really just neat cultural things that I'm sure you've heard of the jeepneys.
Yeah,
no,
the jitneys, yes.
Jeepneys. So it's basically like these old. It's almost like similar to how like in Cuba how they like take old cars, American cars, and do stuff. Like they have all these old Jeeps that
That's awesome.
have been like converted to basically people movers, kind of like mini buses, but like you own your own, and they're like customized like crazy. Like
for
you
sure.
just never know what you see. It like one, I don't remember. Like I remember seeing some of the pictures, and they're just ridiculous. Like it in the coolest way. It's like the old. It's like watch modding in many ways. Like they just take them to these crazy extents with like mods and customized stuff. Like you'll see them with like crazy spoilers on them. Like
Dang.
uh,
just also just if you can dream it up, someone's done it.
oh yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like there's probably one covered in rhinestones. Like.
So Eugene, I wanted to bring you onto the live stream today because you and JD are running this incredible charity for the Veterans Watchmaker Initiative. Do you want to tell everyone in the chat what that's all about and what led you?
Yeah, for sure. So so me and JD, so there's actually 5 of us total that are kind of behind this project, and we it's been over a year ago now that we got together just kind of on Instagram talking about like doing projects. We thought like, hey, maybe we can manufacture some products, that kind of stuff. It just turned into really like a group of a club, and one of the things that came up was this idea that I had seen on Watch You Seek, that someone was like, hey, I've got this old Vostok, and if anyone wants it, I'll send it as long as you send it on to someone else. Right. So I thought, hey, what if we like actually did this? I was like, that's kind of a cool project,
Yeah.
And it was just something I mentioned, like literally like in the group chat, like I was like, hey, someone was doing this. What if we did this? Mm-hmm. And it was not like, it was like that. Like I just do that. I come up with random ideas. None of them come to any kind of fruition. Well, literally the next day, JD goes, hey, here's the page, and like he's got a full page made for it.
Wow.
He's already implemented like literally like what you hear about the guys who are like, I came up with Netflix before Netflix existed, but it's like the guys who actually implement that actually make things happen.
Right.
Well, it seems like JD's that guy, because he had it rolling like full blast, and I was like, we're doing this, let's go. So from that point on, what came around was what was going to be the meaning behind it, and it benefiting the veterans was actually kind of right there in the forefront. We thought, if we're going to send this watch, around the world. And that was kind of the idea, is that the watch would go around the whole world to kind of underscore the connective nature of the hobby, the way that the hobby can really connect people, like the two of you who would have never met each other or chatted, like,
Right.
if it wasn't for this, right? That's both the nature of the social media connections, like the positive nature of social media connections, and also with the hobby, how it can connect people. We thought, why don't we send this watch and have hands all over the world touch it? Although I guess everyone touching the same thing right now in the time of Corona is probably
right.
I actually had it before the whole COVID thing, so but I was honored to have actually had experience with this watch. And welcome, JD. How you doing
Yeah,
today?
JD, nice to meet you.
Yeah, good to meet you guys too.
So JD, there's actually a backstory with you
Yeah.
in regards to the Veterans Watchmaker Initiative, because your son actually fought for our country. So you want to get into that?
Yeah, sometimes it's a little more difficult for me to talk about, but I'll do what I can here.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you if you want to.
Yeah. So 12 and a half years ago, he was killed in Iraq. That tour, he volunteered for the security company. I mean, he was in logistics, and he didn't feel like on his first tour in logistics, he was really doing what he signed up for. So he volunteered for the security company. So to me,
Take your time.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he wanted to take care and be there for his fellow Marines. So that's what my wife and I thought was, we should carry on with that.
But we want to thank you.
And so since then, I mean, we've been working on different organizations to help veterans. And with the Traveling Watch Project, I found out about the Veterans Watchmaker Initiative just on a lark, and it just everything just kind of fell into place, and it was like, yes, this is what we're doing.
This is it.
Yeah.
And thank you for your son's service. Thank you to you as parents of the military. I mean, the sacrifice isn't just of our military; it's the families involved too. So, thank you.
You must feel extremely proud of the sacrifice your son made, and I don't want to harp on that, but huge thank you though.
And I tell people I am. I certainly appreciate it, and I tell people all the time I'm happy to talk about him. Just realize sometimes it takes me a while to get the words out. But no, I appreciate it very much.
My fiance is a big supporter of the project as well. So when I actually was able to receive this watch, man, I wanted to do everything possible to get it out there. So hopefully I did it some justice. And what a great cause, man. I hope everyone will follow you guys and really see what an amazing story this is, man.
It is, and you have so many. I mean, I just feel like every time I see gets brought up, like you just have immediate following support. Like so, God bless you guys. So it's amazing.
Yeah. So I work with veterans every day in mental health. That's my specialty, and I think one of the biggest things that I've been thinking more and more about is how much, in how many ways, vets, especially combat vets, are a unique social group, a unique, almost a minority group, because we really don't understand. We have a hard time understanding what their lives are like, what their lives, how their lives are impacted. Most that we hear on media and things like that is, oh, thank you for your service.
Right.
And that doesn't even begin to touch and repay for the sacrifices these guys have made, that they make, regardless of political ideology or anything. And it's interesting because these guys, they the concept of gratitude. They don't. Most of them don't see themselves as heroes and don't see that they deserve thanks. They see themselves as someone who did their job. They did what they were told because that's what they signed up for. And I think we don't do enough to really show their things from their eyes. I would love to see more of that personally. I've seen there's been some increased things with people with PTSD and kind of the experiences they go through. Sorry, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
But sorry, but sorry, I need to change venues here for a second.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Take your time.
Yeah, the experiences they go through. As I was saying.
Live streaming is all about, man. You never know.
Well, and while you do that, let me ask, because Fit Outpost, one of our viewers, he was asking, because he doesn't have Instagram, so is there another avenue or channel that we can get for you guys to post out here?
That's really the main one, because as Eugene and I and the other guys in our group kind of talked through, the idea was take pictures of the watch at each place that you're at and doing something cool with it. I mean, it could be something boring, just like game night with the family or making dinner. Maybe it's, hiking up the mountain, but we wanted to get pictures with the watch. And the idea was when the watch makes it all the way around, we auction that off along with a book of pictures of all the places it's been, all the people that have handled it.
Right.
So those two things go together. So Instagram really kind of is like the main place that we can do that with. So
okay.
I looked at trying to do a couple other avenues as well, such as Facebook and Twitter and stuff. But
right.
I'm telling you, I work full time and trying to manage this.
We understand.
It gets to be quite a bit. So to try to manage multiple platforms, multiple people, it was just kind of, at this point, just kind of a little bit much.
Okay.
But,
well, I think. Go ahead.
But I would say if it's someone who wants to receive the watch and be a part of the experience, they can definitely shoot an email to us. We'll be glad to send put them on the list. And once they have, lovely.
Look at that.
This
so what email?
Was only a few months old. This is actually a little baby picture, but it also has. Oh, here we go. It also has the watch here. This was actually a custom dial, and some of that chroma is actually seeing through, as you can see. But I think you guys get the idea. I'll actually repost this on my Instagram for anyone that wants to see it. I'll put this up to the top.
Yeah. So what email would be best to send them to, Eugene or JD?
Yeah, JD, do you want to share? I think you're doing the logistics.
Yeah. You can just contact my personal email, which is jdkimple@yahoo.com, and that's KIM as in Matthew, P as in Paul, LE. So jdkimple@yahoo.
Got it. I just threw it in the chat for the viewers out there. So, because I know, and then the good thing with Instagram, I would just say for Fit Outpost, because I know him specifically doesn't have Instagram, but I don't think your page is in biz or private. So I think like you could still go and view it. You don't have to be an Instagram account holder to at least see the post. So I would just say that. So
yeah. And I did notice in the chat here, Fit Outpost is asking what happened to the watch. So right now we're in the beginning steps of the journey. The idea was we'll send it to Fernando, who's another one of our group. Mm-hmm. He made a custom strap for it. He's up in Seattle. From there, it went down to Oregon to the guys at 40 and 20. It went down to California, Arizona, Nevada, Texas. And then the guy in Texas was sending it to Eugene.
Okay.
And the post office lost it. So
I saw that post.
It got to Des Moines, Iowa.
Tell us more. Yeah.
So we are both trying to figure out what the heck happened. Somewhere in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, post office, it's gone.
So more specifically, they received the envelope or whatever in Des Moines, Iowa. And I think what happened is that the watch in the box itself must have gotten separated from the envelope. So the way they explain it to me is that everything that they don't know what the deal is, like that, goes down to lost mail warehouse in Atlanta, Georgia. I picture it a little bit like the place in Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, where it's just this giant warehouse, and it's somewhere next to the Holy Grail or whatever.
Yeah, We should catch a
Yeah.
flight through the Bermuda Triangle. I'm sure we'll find it. you know,
It'll just teleport itself into. So, hey, if anyone listening here is somehow connected to the United States Postal Service and can help dislodge this thing, I would be eternally grateful. But
yeah.
go ahead, JD, because JD has started a version 1.2 of the project to continue on the journey.
We are rebuilding it, so it's going to be pretty similar to what you had, Average Joe, except we're putting it, instead of like an SNK 805 case, we're going to put it in a older style Oyster Perpetual, so 36 millimeter case.
Cool.
So, and we're going to do a little better movement, the NH36 in it, and
Great movement.
and just a couple of minor tweaks. It's a workhorse movement.
Sure.
Have dozens and dozens of watches with that, and I beat the crap out of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
Schwen Design.
What's that?
Is Schwen Design doing the dial again?
Yes. So did commission Schwen Design to hand paint another dial for it.
Wow,
so that's on its way. I think that's the last piece we're waiting on right now.
Cool. Dang, I'm excited to see the 2.0. Yeah, the Phoenix Rising. You know, we got the rebirth version. So.
And who knows? I mean, if the second one is done and the other one turns up, maybe they can both travel around the world. We can do like a little crisscross. I mean,
that'd be cool. Yeah, for sure. I have a feeling it'll turn up. It's a matter of when, you know. So, yeah.
Fit Outpost actually has a question that I was going to actually ask you guys in regards to what is the end goal. Like, you guys are going to auction this watch off, and you're also going to include the photos of all of our posts. Is that correct?
So yeah, the idea is we'll actually try to have make a photo book, like a not like a nice quality photo book with the pictures and the locations associated with them. Something that really kind of will just commemorate the travels of the watch. So the winner of the auction, or we're looking at either auction or raffle as the best way to do it, because what we want to do is we want to generate the most money we can for the Watchmaker initiative.
Yes.
So the winner of that will receive the watch and the book, as this nice commemorative piece.
That's so awesome. I love it.
Will guys like me and other people in the chat have an opportunity to bid on this watch?
I think so. I don't think having had the watch in your hands kind of gives you an inside track in any way. There's not a conflict of interest in this case.
When one winner take all, yeah.
Would it be like on like social media, like something like maybe like an eBay, for instance? Is that kind of the route?
That's what I had originally thought, but I mean, as we're working through this process, trying to, I don't know if that's the best avenue or not, but we're still investigating that.
Yeah,
cool.
It's about
Yeah, I like this. I love this case idea too.
Average Joe wants this watch.
There you go. Yeah, we it's what we need in that case is like a tracking device, like a GPS logger too, like find exact where it's at.
Like the old Breitling pilot watches that had the.
There you go. Yeah.
If you actually pull that out though, and it's not a true emergency, you get a stiff fine. That's actually more than a watch. So.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what? I would be okay though with doing like a crowdfunding, which is just to pay the fine, and let's see what happens.
Have all these helicopters landing on your house.
Yeah, worth it.
No, you have to make it somewhat believable. Like, just go into your nearest like state park that's by you, and then just like pull it, and then be like, I got lost. I was so lost. Like, sir, you can see the road from where you're.
Yeah, I was too busy looking at the stars, trying to figure out which was the North Star.
So, is there an ending to this whole journey? Like, do you guys have a date in mind in regards to when you want to have this watch go on auction?
Oh, I can tell you when we first launched this, I didn't think it was going to be more than 4 or 5 months because
Okay.
it's a real watch nerdy thing to do, you know. And we got 9 months into it, and it only got through 4 or 5 states.
Yeah.
We've got a huge. I really didn't anticipate the number of people who wanted to be involved with this.
Right.
So that was certainly an oversight on my part. But once we get it back
It's a
in
good problem.
motion, then we
It's a
got
good problem, indeed, right?
then we got
Yeah.
to hustle it around, and it's going to be, given the size of the list, it's probably going to be another 9 months to a year just to get it across the United States, and
Nice. I love
then we
it.
get it across the ocean. So it's
You know what though?
honestly,
The more hands it touches, the more traction it gets. It's just going to be better for your end result and for all of those veterans with the
Story
initiative. So, you know, I say it, if it takes a year more, hey, that's all good.
We'll have an
Yeah,
encyclopedia for your picture book.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that because there's something that is an extra I don't know, extra interesting about it becoming an organic thing where it just kind of goes where almost where it's being pulled, you know.
Right.
That underscores kind of like, once again, this connective nature of all this.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Well, and so my buddy Wellesley's here, and I
Yeah,
put his comment here. So I
sorry,
like
go
his
ahead.
idea. No, go. Yeah, I think you can see it there too. So, but he was just saying, like,
Yeah, I
why
was
not
just
add a
gonna look at
GoFundMe?
that.
Hey, that's not a bad idea. Yeah.
Yeah, Wells.
Because you have a winner that gets
Well,
you get that result, but some people just want to donate.
See that, right, and well, see that kind of, I think that's where the idea of maybe doing it more like a raffle is not a bad idea. That everyone who donated through the GoFundMe would then be automatically entered in a chance to win win it. And
Sure.
yeah,
exactly, yeah, and yeah, I think that's not a half bad idea. And I mean, who knows? We could even do 2 separate books and have someone a second prize win the book with, like, some signatures or something like that.
I was just thinking
Yeah.
you could do. My buddy said, like, it'll be a coffee table, full size coffee table book. But I'm like, what if you did volume 1, volume 2, that you have multiple first place, second place winners? Like,
Right.
some good. It'd be
Yeah.
cool.
So I just saw the comment about receiving support from watch brands or watch companies. We specifically, with regarding to this, we haven't reached out to watch companies. I know that Bulova has recently given shout out to the Watchmaker initiative specifically, and are
They started
donating some proceeds.
late 60s, I believe it was, or early 70s. Bulova was behind the Watchmaker initiative.
Well, go ahead, Eugene.
Sorry, so it goes further back than that. What it is that back right after World War II,
Right.
I believe Joseph. I think I don't know if Joseph Bulova was still around. But basically Bulova formed the Joseph Bulova Watchmaking School right after World War II, and it specifically did exactly what the Veterans Watchmaker Initiative does. They took the wounded veterans after World War II and taught them watchmaking. And JD, what's the name of the gentleman who runs the initiative?
So right now it's Sam Cannon, and he retired cop, watchmaker. He got wind of the old Bulova school, and basically he wanted to revive it. So that's what the Veterans Watchmaker is, and it is. The thing is, the great thing to me is that the tuition is of no charge to the veteran.
Nice.
And they're actually all donations coming in. So you guys in the chat, anyone that's watching, go to Veterans Watchmaker Initiative, and you can make a donation, and it'll actually go toward tuition towards these veterans that want to get this career.
So the website is just veteranswatchmakerinitiative.org, and there is a link there for donations. So
and they have a Facebook page. Yeah,
I just tossed it in the chat there. So awesome. Great initiative. And when I read about the idea behind it, and this I all found out through Average Joe, by the way, getting and seeing you guys, your project, and I was like, it's all good. Like, this is all great.
I did a video on it a while back. If you search Average Joe Veterans Watchmaker Initiative, I actually did a kind of like a brief history on it.
Yep.
Go check that out if you want as well.
Yep. So I'm gonna ask because I'm curious, and I'm sure others in the chat are too. So like, how big into watches are each of you guys? And can we do a wristwatch check? Because we missed our last guest, but let's see where we're at.
Yeah, you almost can't get away without doing one, right?
All right, what do we got here?
So this one is a mod. So not as good as a modder as your previous guest.
Okay, Brandon. Yeah,
yeah, Brandon. He's got years on us, but I don't know. I've been monkeying with watches for 4 or 5 years now, and got into modding the past 2 or 3.
Okay,
nice.
I've done quite a few. So this one, I don't know if I can get a good angle on it, but
okay, yeah.
That's got basically it's an Invicta Pro Diver that I modded, and I've modded tons of these for some stupid reason. But this one, the dial was made by a gentleman who you can see on Facebook and Instagram as Leszek Giesche, Leszek. Gentleman in Poland. So he had hand etched this dial.
I love the look of that. Yeah, I see the helmet, the rifle, and the boots.
Yeah.
Okay, I see that now.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
And then when we got it, I wasn't entirely happy with the contrast of it. I mean, I like what he did, but I kind of wanted to bring the graphic out more. So my wife actually painted the background on that. So, and actually, she did it with her some of her nails paint for fingernails.
No kidding, man.
Yeah.
That's a very special watch. I mean, right there, all those different, unique elements tied into it. So cool.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm wearing today.
And
great watch.
I've got this is my dad's 97 date just. It's a machine turn bezel. It's linen dial. I recently inherited the watch, so.
Can I take a look at that? Sorry, I was looking over here. Let me see that. Oh yeah. Man, look at that thing.
So the dial was like a light salmon color when my mom gave it to him for his 50th.
Very nice, man. And so it's kind of changed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think it's specifically these linen tapestry. Sorry, not linen, tapestry dials. Mm-hmm. They really actively change over kind of a quicker amount of time, shorter period of time than kind of like your typical dials do. So
very cool.
It's really cool. It's harder to see some of the markers on it now, but the colors like this caramel kind of like it almost looks like.
That's a beautiful
side of a caramello.
Yeah, I can even see like the light, like where those markers are kind of playing with it too. And so I'm sure in person it looks so much better, but even just on camera,
makes it look all blingy and shiny.
It's really funny. And when I first saw it, I was like, when my mom got it for my dad, it was like, oh, this is nice, but now it's a completely different story. When I actually hold it in my hands and operate the super crisp date change, all the fit and finish on these it is a bit transformative for your opinions of especially after like working with different watches for a while.
So we got to hold them and experience them to really get that appreciation, like. So for me going back, like my whole connection to watches, my dad was always a bit of a watch guy. He never had like a massive collection. We're from Ukraine originally. I came to the States when I was like 10 years old. Okay.
And he, back in 1978 or 79, like right before I was born, basically, it was like, I need to get me a legit watch. Because he had been, they had been like doing Russian watches, which nowadays would probably be kind of valuable. But back then he was just swapping Russian watches. And then he asked a friend who was working in one of these like commission shops hey, if you come across like a Seiko or an Orient, which were really popular in the Soviet Union back in those days, let me know. And she contacted him like a month later, and it turned out that she had this athlete who was allowed to leave the country. You know, you had to like have a special visa or whatever.
Okay.
This athlete who was allowed to leave the country went to the UAE and picked up this Seiko Lordmatic. It was a 1973 brand new Seiko Lordmatic, and my dad paid, I think, something like a couple times a month's salary for the
Wow.
watch.
Man, that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, for back, and he had a good, you know, like he was a professional dancer. He worked for the official Ukrainian subsidized dance organization, whatever. There was an
Wow,
acronym.
nice. Yeah.
So he had, and which at that time he had the same salary as like a official state engineer would. So you know, so he paid a good amount of money for this watch, and it's actually, I have, you know, it's in my collection. I'd access it now, but I'm kind of sequestered in this little area.
Yeah, no, you're good, man. Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of how it started. So it's funny because both me and JD, I think, came to the mod world in a different way than most people. Because most people like just start with this whole like they get an SKX and they put some new stuff on it, and
Right.
You know, Seiko, you know. Whereas I like my whole thing started with like I started kind of, I was like, I'm gonna collect, you know, I like watches. It's time for me to take it more seriously. And then from that I jumped to, I'm gonna build a custom watch from the ground up for my dad for his 70th birthday. That's how, you know, I wasn't like, well, let me just try changing this bezel. I was like, no, I'm going full blast. I'm building up
all in. Yeah.
So so like I had this kind of trial by fire in learning watch assembly. I'm not going to call it watchmaking because, you know, but you know, and from there it was much easier to get into modding and doing all that. But you know, kind of a different thing. And JD too, you didn't start with, you know, with your typical Seiko stuff. You worked with Invicta and you did a lot of Miyota stuff before.
Yeah.
It's awesome, man. Wow. So you guys have definitely like you have that experience like with, you know, that's kind of what got you into it. And I feel like y'all's watches for your wristwatch check are so much cooler than like, hang on, let me dig through my watch box here and get something with a little more.
I got one for you. This is in honor of your son, JD. The Lumina,
Oh yeah.
Nice.
the Combat
Yeah.
Camo. And this is the only easy day was yesterday watch. So this is the Navy SEAL watch.
Oh, cool.
So
Very cool watch. Yeah.
That is very sharp.
of the military and your son, buddy. So
Thank you.
Awesome, man. Well, I don't have anything as cool like as what you guys brought to the table. I was like, this is actually from, I was going to do my wristwatch check last hour and we just never got around to it, but I have my Brew retrograph
Lovely.
because I'm about to be on coffee number 2. So, you know, I got the Brew watch. Yeah.
Everybody's got their little coffee. I got my caffeinated Mountain Dew Code
Hey, we
Red.
got it. Whatever works, you know.
You know, that was
Yeah, I think.
the Bob Ross Positive Energy.
Oh, nice.
I had this one yesterday. I didn't.
So cool.
Is that like filled with hugs and kisses and things like that?
Right.
Fluffy clouds?
Pretty little rainbows and yeah, happy little cloud.
No.
I'm afraid the Bob Ross thing would make me make happy little accidents all day long.
Oh, we had quite a few of them already, right, Dave?
No. I'm saving that for later. Oh man. Well,
It's here, man. I really do appreciate you guys taking the time to chat with us, man. And I hope that everybody in the chat follows this project, and if they can, even donate if they can to that Veterans Watchmaker Initiative. And help veterans get jobs in the watchmaking industry, man. It's such a awesome way of giving back to those that sacrifice, making the ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms. And like what you guys said earlier, like I know we say thank you for your service, but man, we can't thank you enough. We can't express that gratitude enough. And I wish I could, but man, just trust me when I say that I really am truly grateful and honored of the sacrifice that the soldiers have made, and especially with you, JD, your son.
Nice.
Yeah,
Really honored
So-
to have you guys here today. So
means a lot for sure. Yeah, to all of us. And yeah, I ditto, because I can't say any better than that. So
yeah,
Pretty
and
good.
I usually can't talk that well, but man, when it comes to you guys, that one came from the heart. So that's probably the last time anything coherent is going to come out of my mouth today. So.
Nino talks so good.
yeah, exactly. We got
Make words come from.
we got average caveman watch reviews. So
Why do you think my channel called Average Joe? It gets me off the hook.
there you go.
What was that caveman lawyer bit that Phil Hartman did on that?
Oh,
Yeah.
Good time, huh?
Where he would all of a sudden start. He was like super eloquent.
You just go off. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Now I'm just a simple caveman.
Man.
And I don't know about your world of digital watches and such.
Well, are y'all like really? I mean, you told us about we got your little wristwatch check, but like, are y'all pretty big as far as your personal collections, or do you just keep a few and that's it?
I can't stop. I can't stop getting. I can't stop getting. I was just so I'm primarily I don't know. I'm kind of an eclectic guy in everything, like from music to whatever, like everything. So there's just no limit to what I'm interested in, what I want to get. So like the other day we were talking about like, we should thin out our collections maybe, and then I'm like, you know what, maybe I just need to get another watch box. I don't need to thin out. I just more space for them. But like, yeah, I'm primarily a vintage guy. So for stuff that I want to like buy, it's usually lately mostly like 40s stuff, and I'm really having my eye out for a like an issued military. Like I'm probably gonna try to get a Dirty Dozen, one of the Dirty Dozen watches.
Nice. Okay.
I'm not gonna like collect all of them, because that's for other people.
Right.
But I want one. I don't even really care which one. It's the connection to the bits of history and the people throughout history that really kind of drives it for me. It's kind of like when you go to a historic site, like you go to like an Aztec ruins, and then when you're there's some portion of the dimensions of the separation between you and the people that were there back in the day that's like shortened, right? Like the only thing that separates you now is time. The distance is gone. You're there with the actual things that they were with.
Right.
And that connection, just there's a feeling behind it. And that's kind of why, some of these special kind of watches, why I like them. And the fact that out of all these other technologies, it's this daily use technology that literally will work as well today as it did, in 1942 when it was issued.
Yeah, that's a good point. I love that.
I just got my hands on this Accutron Space View.
Oh yeah.
It's got that tuning fork movement, so you can hear the hum. This thing was built in 1962, and it still has that smooth sweep. It still keeps accurate time, and I just can't believe that something that's built all those years ago still works. It's amazing.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So I totally am with you with the whole vintage vibe, man. Like it's amazing how they can withstand the test of time, being a watch. What a concept.
Yeah, I found out I like vintage watches. I like the look and the sizing and the very classic appearance.
Right.
But I'm too much of a knuckle dragging Neanderthal to wear vintage watches on a regular basis.
Yeah, they won't. They don't hold up well to the JD lifestyle. Huh?
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, JD he has his hands in equipment all the time, like doing repairs and stuff. And I'm terrible. Like I'm one of these people who like you probably would say this is you can't have nice things too. But like I don't know. I'm not a person. those they were meant to be worn in my eyes, and I'm going to do it. And if it adds a little bit more wear to them, I think that's part of their life.
Right.
But at the same time, it's it's not like having that Casio Duro, which is meant to be like tossed around.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm much the same way. I just wear my watches, and like Eugene says, when I'm working, I beat the crap out of them. They're meant to be worn.
Yeah. So do you have, JD, in your collection, like, is it large or smaller, or do you have like pieces, let's say, for example, a formal event, you have a not work watch, like?
Yeah. Geez, I probably have 35 or 40 pieces altogether.
You're with us. All right. We bring it all in, guys. Big group hug. We're all together. Like, yeah, I feel you.
About the same here. I think right somewhere around 40. And it's it's a smorgasbord of like a couple of new things, a bunch of old things, and some mods that that I've put together.
Nice.
Just kind of a little bit of everything.
Yeah. So here's one. There we go. So
look at that.
White dial.
Sterile dial, right?
Yeah. Sterile dial Fluted case. So this one I put together last year for our anniversary, because we were at 30 years. 30 years is supposed to be the
congrats.
Congrats. Pearl, okay.
So I had the white dial, and I bought it, and I don't remember what I bought it for. So it's been sitting in my parts bin forever. And I looked at that, and I saw that the little markers, the camera works a little different
out there.
Are kind of pearl-esque. So I thought, well, that could be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I had the case, and
very clean dial.
So put that together. So yeah, this is one of my more dress type pieces.
Looks great. I love the white on white.
Yeah, what movement did you?
That one's got a Miyota 8215. So it's the I know it's the bottom of the shelf mechanical Miyota movement, but
I like
the Seiko.
It works.
It works. It works great.
Exactly.
Now, is that the Miyota movement? If you tap it, it'll stutter the second hands. Is that? I know there's Miyotas.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before. I don't know.
I don't know if I can demonstrate it on this one.
No, we're gonna. It's like you always cringe, right, when you see. Oh, okay, it caught back up. We're good. Okay.
And it does it fairly often.
Yeah.
But some of them do it more than others, and it just has to do with the seconds hand is an indirect drive.
Yeah, that
and
mechanism.
the way that
the gears mesh
up.
Yeah, I thought.
Is that like a little gear slack, basically?
Yes.
So you're technically losing time if you do that. To every time you do.
No,
you're not. Yeah, you're not.
It'll catch back up.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's why it's stutter, because it'll stop and then it'll kind of catch back up.
Yeah, because essentially the second hand is not. So when you look at a watch movement, the minute hand is what is most connected to the actual timekeeping. That's connected to the primary gear train. It's the second wheel, I believe. Second or first wheel. So basically, the minute hand is driven right off of the barrel, right off of the main spring, the main spring. All the other stuff is indirectly driven from that. So like your hour hand is basically driven. It's all on the front side, is driven off of a wheel that is driven off of the cannon pinion, which is what the minute hand drives.
Right.
And then the second hand often is driven once again, like indirectly, kind of almost like as a second thought. I mean, that's a silly way to explain it, but so basically, as long as if you can mess with the second hand, and it's not really shouldn't affect.
Gotcha.
Depending on the movement.
That's good to know.
It's a good explanation. I do appreciate.
Yeah, I'm following you.
It freaks people out, but other than that, it doesn't do any good.
That's what I was gonna say. It looks bad, like you're like, oh no, but it's fine. I actually have a Courget watch that's a black Bay Homage, and it has a Miyota that stutters, but it actually has there's two sections in between certain numbers where the second hand will stutter, and then but it's accurate as far as keeping time. It just doesn't look pretty.
Right.
Yeah.
And I even time lapsed it where I recorded it, and when you play back the time lapse, it's completely smooth. But when you're watching it, it has that little. It's really strange. Yeah.
That's the way. Yeah, I had an old Vostok like diver that like the gears that drove the second hand, there was a tooth missing, and basically like at the same time around the at the same place around the dial, it would like stop and then start again, but the watch was still running, but it basically skipped a gear or skipped a tooth.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. My buddy Wells, he was on earlier, and he had a funny story, and we were chatting, and we were like, hey, if we were going to take one of your watches, like which would it be, from each other's collection? And the one that I was going to get, he actually drop kicked it by like reaction. He fell off his counter, his dresser, and he likes to hacky sack stuff back up to hand level. But instead of it coming back up, he just ended up kicking it into a wall. And so the minute and hour hands are completely like entangled. So it's not, I'm like, you know what? Let's turn this into a mod.
Like, I changed my mind. I want a different watch now.
I was like, I don't want that. And I'm like, and you can never borrow my watches again, by the way. Like, no thanks.
Wow.
Like, dude, it's not a G-Shock.
So yeah, it's pretty funny. But that's one that it was good to know about the second hand not really being as important. So I'll make sure when I untangle the minute and hour, I be careful with those. So.
It reminds me of the Weiler. Are you guys familiar with the brand Weiler?
I'm not.
So Weiler was a Swiss brand that started in the early 1900s, and was pretty popular throughout most of the 20th century, and then quartz crisis, yada yada.
Right.
But their big thing, they had this special balance that they designed. So a lot of times they would use movements, like standard movements from like a shield or ETA, but they had the special balance that they designed where the balance wheel itself had these special springy kind of arms that held it. So basically it was an extra shock absorbent balance. And to prove how durable their watches were, they dropped one off the Eiffel Tower in the 1950s, and it still ran properly afterwards. And they also in the States they also did it, I believe, either of the Seattle Needle or somewhere big. So it's actually a really, really cool brand that really did stuff kind of differently. They also had really cool water protection, water resistance, where they did these mono cases, where there weren't any rubber gaskets because rubber gaskets degrade over time. Right. So what it was is the bezel pressure, like the actual water resistance was the crystal, a thin lip of the crystal being pressed super tightly against the bezel. And so you could get like a 1940s Weiler right now, and assuming that that whatever the waterproofing in the crown is good, they'll still be totally waterproof. Well, water resistant. I'll
have to look into that Weiler, man.
Yeah,
what a flex!
Really cool.
Drop your watch off the Eiffel Tower and like,
right? I mean, like,
you're not gonna survive, but the watch will be completely fine. Like,
they got me beat, man. I mean, I only put a flamethrower, ran it over my car.
Yeah, man. Casio Chronicles.
I did not do anything from the Eiffel Tower, man. That's.
Oh yeah, but you had the one guy, didn't he put it in like a hydraulic press?
Yep, that's me.
Yeah. No, yeah, but your buddy in the machine shop. What was the pressure that it actually took? Like, what was the maximum pressure that it could?
I think he said 5,000 pounds of pressure.
Jeez.
Wow!
And that torch, the Casio F91, $10 watch. It was a 6,000 degree torch, and it was still running for. I mean, a lot longer than I thought it would with that torch piece back. And the watch was melting, and it was still running. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
That's the extreme I had to take for this $10 Casio. That just showed you how tough it was. I was actually surprised. I thought I was going to probably make one video and be out, but I couldn't kill it the first time. So we had to go to a part 2, and then we had to go to a part 3. So we actually eventually made it 5-part series. But man, that $10 Casio, man.
You should send all the links to Casio and see if they maybe they'll use your stuff for their promotional material.
Yeah, I actually already tried that. Great idea, by the way, but they ignored me. Okay, it was a lot of fun, and
it's all good.
It's all good.
I was gonna say, like, now they have all those super cold chiller freezers going around for the vaccines. Maybe you can sneak it into one of the shipments.
Oh, yeah.
Without them knowing, just tape it on the side and like it's fine. Like
trying to get the COVID off my watch.
Yeah, I think at that temperature you're probably safe from that.
I mean, I did deep freeze it. I mean, in my regular freezer, I wouldn't say deep freeze, but I mean, it was in a block of ice.
Yeah.
Threw it in a boiling pot of water. It was still running.
I forgot you're from Philly.
Yeah, water.
Oh man,
you picked that up. Good job, man.
Yeah, that was the first thing I have. I've got really good friends that live in Philly, and I went to visit them. He's a big man. He loves the city, and that was like the first thing he told me. He goes, just so you know, they got this different accent here. They say water. And that's I just remembered that from that point.
You know what's funny? I think you guys have the accent when you say "which." Like, no, that's not how you say it. So it's so funny. It's like a whole about you know.
Yeah, it's like Canada, the a boot, you know, instead of about. Like we got our little things. I'm Texan, and we always say y'all. And
where are you guys live streaming from?
Oh yeah, good question.
Oh, so I'm in the middle of Ohio.
Yeah, and I'm in Iowa City. So we're kind of both in the Midwestern.
Very cool.
Right on. Nice.
So are we gonna compare accents with like Jody later on?
Oh, yeah.
Totally. Looking forward to that.
And also Adrian Sales from the United Kingdom. He'll be on.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
We're trying to go all around the world, man.
There we go.
That's awesome.
There were so many too. Like there were so many channels, so many business owners, companies out there. Like we would love to have brought on and done. But I also felt like if we had chopped everyone down to 30 minutes to squeeze in more, it's just not enough time in my opinion. So like, you know, but we'll do another for sure, and we'll get all the rest that we missed. And
you know, this whole thing, like the nature of what you guys do is just so interesting because it really takes some quite a bit of diligence and determination to like constantly create content. You know, you think it's like, I sit down for, you know, a half hour, blah blah blah, it's all done and good. Well, that's not the case at all. It takes some serious work.
You have to have a passion for what you do, and I know, Dave, I can speak for you as well. We love what we do, and we do what we love. And it actually, the content part is actually pretty easy. It's just having the time to film it, to edit it, to put it out. You know, that's the challenge. But I've got content for the next couple of years, man.
We're turning stuff down. Like, I got too much.
The editing, that takes time. It like I you know, like the videos I've done. I mean, like it takes time. Like 3 hours later, you're like, no, this needs to be this audio. Right. You know, like
I spent 25 to 30 hours per Casio Chronicle video that I did.
I believe
you can tell, yeah, man.
But my typical video doesn't take that long, you know.
Yeah. Well, but those ones, I mean, those ones were like Michael Mann, like Ninja Turtles level.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
It didn't do as well as I thought it would, but it was still fun and something that I'm proud of. But
should be.
The ones that take me like 5 minutes are the ones that are popular. So it's like, I'm working harder, not smarter. Let's just put it that way.
People like what they like. Yeah. No, I agree. Well, I was going to say, because I know we're down to our about 5 minutes before we move on. And thank you so much, JD, Eugene, not just for coming on, taking the time to come onto the channel, but thanks for everything you guys are doing with your project and sharing your story with us. It's amazing. And I know, and thanks Average Joe for, you know, having you guys in mind to come on the live stream.
Well, I really appreciate that, and it's kind of neat to show how we all get connected through this little hobby.
Yeah,
Right.
totally.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, thank you so much for having us, guys. And I mean, if we can, yeah, if we can kind of get more attention out there on the project, on the traveling watch project, all the better.
Yep.
I think like once again, anyone's not through Instagram, they can shoot an email to JD, and obviously they can email their pictures once they have the watch to him as well. I think you had the email thrown up. It was JD Kimple at yahoo.com, correct, JD?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. Yahoo. I'm gonna throw it up there one more time, and then I'm actually gonna get in touch with you guys too, because I know you had it in Texas. Version 1.0 was in Texas before,
Yeah.
but I'd love to get 2.0 out here and spend some time with it, and it'd be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. We get this rebooted. We'll get that out your way. We'll make sure
Right
you're in
on.
the rotation.
Yeah, all right.
And heck, if anyone, go ahead. If anyone,
I want that watch, man.
well, hey, get in line, man. Get in the. So, but if anyone's interested I'm thinking in the future for the next iteration of the Traveling Watch Project, if people want to contribute components of the watch itself,
okay,
that would be something fascinating to try as well, where the crowd, not just a crowd funded, but like a crowd built.
Dang, I love that thought, that idea.
Okay. I'll donate something.
Yeah. I can put a few scratches in it,
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like everyone can put their own signature.
Yeah, I think we had DM Tiffany chime in earlier, and if you haven't seen the work he does on Instagram, you really should. Because
okay, I'm gonna check it out.
He mentioned at one point that he would be interested in contributing to the 2.0, and that guy does some amazing work. He's making cases, hands, indices. He's machining it all by himself. No CNC machines. The guy does some phenomenal work, and I'd love to have him on board too.
I actually got to visit him in Phoenix, and we kind of just chatted for a couple of hours. He is just an awesome guy, and he basically got this idea that he was going to build a full workshop in his garage. So he's got machining equipment, lathes. He made equipment to do like the dials, the guilloche. He has all this, and it's all old school. He's no CNC machining. It's like all classic, and he has built a watch completely by hand. And his version 1.0 just came out, and it's already sold to a number of people. And the only thing he did not make himself is the movement. He's using the higher grade at the thinner version. It's not the 2824. And then he also is sourcing the straps from a local strap maker in Phoenix, but literally every other component of the watch he has manufactured himself, and so it's profoundly impressive.
That's awesome, man. Wow. Yeah. I would definitely be checking him out and give him a follow, and love it, man. I feel like I only have so much time to consume content, but I'm just as much as I can, I'm all about it. So
that is a challenge.
In good balance. Let me throw that out there.
Bringing others is really challenging for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys very much for having us on. I really appreciate it.
The pleasure was all ours. So thank you guys for your time, and wish you the best with the project, and we'll be in touch.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, fellas.
All right. Have a good one.
God bless you guys.
God bless you. All right. So so we got Josh Romer. Man, we're just like tearing through. Like I'm like, looking at the time. Yeah.
What an awesome hour.
I do though.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I like all the hours, but man, that one was definitely touching, man.
Very important.
The backstory behind that initiative. It's a great initiative. Anyone that's still in the chat, please go to that Watchmaker initiative. Go follow the Traveling Watch Project. It's such an incredible charity. Helping.
It really is.
So.
Yeah, I think that it's one of those things that anyone, you can do side projects and stuff, but there's really has such an important benefit behind it. It's just bringing some real value to veterans that have given up so much, and I love it, man. So I really appreciate you, Average Joe, for getting them on, because I've really enjoyed it and learned a lot too. So super cool, man.
Hey, well, thank you for actually doing this live stream, man. I mean, this was a collaborative idea, but you
It's been
had
a blast.
this on your channel, man. I didn't pull the plug, man. So you said I'll do it. I'm like, all right, man, let's do it. So
Hey, I'm down. Like,
thank you for doing this, man.